mortgage rules they're instituting down south of the border starting in May. Or sorry, actually, by the time this airs, it'll be game on.
Yeah.
This came up as like a tweet, right, from the Michael Burry stock tracker. And it said, starting May 1st, home buyers with a credit score of 680 or higher will pay a higher mortgage rate to subsidize the cost for home buyers with a lower credit score. The new rule appears to punish home buyers with a strong financial position. And this was kind of a screenshot of a Fox report. There's a 620 FICO score gets a 1.75% fee discount. 740 FICO score pays a 1% fee. And yes, you did hear that right.
Yeah, as in, if you're doing better in the credit game,
you're getting penalized.
Sucks to suck.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that does suck. But one thing I want to like go back to, if we think about it, it's like, who is determining these credit scores? We have private industries that are determining what your credit score is. And I know from my own credit scores, because like I just bought a house recently. And so it's been very top of mind. And one of the things I was looking at, it's like, if you open an account and then pay it off, that negatively impacts your credit score.
Yes.
But if you keep just enough balance on there that you're constantly feeding the bank their interest, that's a positive for your credit score. So it's like, I think that if they're going to change the mortgage structure, they need to change the credit score rating structure, because I don't think that the people who are running the credit score scoring system, whatever that card is, and that they're not releasing, it's proprietary information that they're not releasing to the public. They don't tell you how they score you. They just say, here's the things that kind of go into this soup and we'll give you a score at the end of it. They're not releasing that to the public. So if they're going to make something that's going to impact your life so dramatically, like there's got to be some reckoning for that, I think.
I definitely agree. I think there's a big part of it too with the story, because as you said, the people who essentially make the rules on your credit score are also reaping the benefits, and it's like, okay, why is there a lack of transparency? Why don't we know how this all works? Obviously, designed for us to be stupid.
Right.
And not be aware of what's happening. And it's like, hey, I keep paying things off. And I mean, story that happened personally happened to my brother-in-law, where they were raised on, you're never supposed to have a credit card. Credit is bad. Credit is the devil. They'll get you and your mom too. And so he just, went through life just always paying things on his debit card all the time, until he came to the point where he wanted to buy a house. And there's like, we're not giving you a mortgage, dog. He's like, why not? It's like, because you don't have any credit history. He's like, but I've been paying everything cash my whole life. Isn't that a good thing? And they're like, no.
Yeah.
We want to track you. We want to know what your buying habits are like. We want to understand how you deal with debt and keep paying money to us. And it shocked his system, unfortunately. And he then had to spend 2 years trying to build up a credit profile so that he could then buy a house. That's the system for you. Doesn't make sense,
It does make sense. It's
to a degree.
It's to keep the banks collecting money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So,
exactly.
It's one of those things that I think we talked about over dinner the other night. It's like the banks are not your friend. Like they're there to make money, and they have their advisors,
right?
They're financial people that are there to then make as much money as humanly possible off you, and to sell you different credit instruments and investment instruments to continue that money flow. Give you enough that you won't revolt, but keep that money flowing in so that the shareholders of the bank are happy.
Dude, we were talking about this before the show, where I had a moment today that I got so angry. I got so angry today.
Angry?
Yeah,
What?
how dare I get angry?
I would never imagine that. Like,
I get a text from my sister, and she's like, "Hey, Josh, have you ever heard of Easy Financial?"
oh no.
That's what I said.
Oh no.
That's what I said too.
Think about the word easy.
Yeah.
If it's got easy, like that's never been a good descriptor.
No,
Like,
exactly. And
Why
so,
is it so easy?
yeah. People, credit, like no.
and so I was like, "What's going on? Like, what's happening?" And she was just like, "Yeah, just essentially, unfortunately, it's that time of year. So my sister got absolutely ravaged by the CRA, had to pay out a bunch of money, and didn't know what to do. And so obviously then had to pull out a loan, or looking to pull out a loan to kind of pay her tax bill, essentially. And she called me and was like, "Hey, so these are the only guys that will give me a loan at the moment. Just wondering, have you heard of them? What's up?" And I was like, "So they're not a bank. They are a loan company.
Payday loans.
Essentially what they are,
Yeah,
with
loan
nice
shark.
with nice packaging.
Yep.
Make it look like they care about you." And I was like, "Did you talk to them yet?" And she's like, "Yeah, I just got off the phone with like a representative." And I was like, "Okay, so what's the interest they're charging you?"
Get ready.
46%.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh, heck no. That was the moment I was like, all right, I'm just going to pull money off of my line of credit and I'll give it to you at a certain interest rate. And that will be dramatically better than 46%. Brianna, I'm so happy that you called me, because like I would have been so mad if a member of my household got caught up in that type of scheme, because I would feel like a failure as a brother in that scenario.
Yeah.
That you think that you had to go to that before you could come to me.
And you think about like who they're targeting to.
Yeah.
Like they're targeting people, one, who may not know, or, just might not have have that like financial background.
Yep.
They're targeting people who are desperate. They're targeting people who are poor, and then they just keep them in these cycles of poverty. And it's just, I think they're criminal. I don't think they
I
should
think they are
exist.
criminal.
I don't know how they exist.
But the problem is like when you think about like the necessity of it all, it comes back to that question of credit score. Who's determining the credit score? Who's saying that you can lend money, right? And so if the bank is saying, they're turning up their nose and saying, no, we're not going to lend to you. What do you do in that situation? You're stuck with this massive bill, and CRA is like, you got to pay it. But I do think though, in that case, like you actually don't have to pay the CRA back like immediately. Like it's something that they'll actually work out over time, and just, you know, they'll charge you like the whatever interest rate of the day, but it's still better than 46%.
I think with the CRA, you have to file for an installment,
Yeah.
but it's not always approved. Like they didn't approve my installment when it happened to me.
Oh, okay.
Then I had to do the same thing. I had to go get a line of credit.
Well, that's interesting because it's like, well, then what do you do if like you just can't? You're like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was 18.
You declined me my installments, and I can't pay it back. I can't make money come out of nowhere. So
I'm
go
not sure
fly a
go.
kite.
Oh, right?
Right.
Can't print nothing.
Sorry to interrupt this episode, but if you could all like, comment, and subscribe, it truly helps us out in the long run. We look at all the comments and the feedback, and it means the world to us. Thanks for watching.